Stroke 3, defending SA2. Stroke 3, you're on your own.
Flat 1, Jettison.
Stroke 3, Spino. Stroke 3, cover with me.
Has contact.
Stroke 3, I'm with you too.
19020. Jettison, egressing. 9020 at 27.
No squad. Flat 5, in. Slits 4 has those. No squads.
Flat 5, safe plan.
Let's do confirm, Sour.
Flat 4, understand. Heading south. That's a permit to launch.
Let's Flat 1, head south.
Flat 1, safe plan.
Let's egress.
He's got his bombs. What do you want to do?
Copy, bit blind.
He's at your right, 5.
Copy that, coming right.
Break right. Stroke 3, break right.
Sam right 2.
Flat 4, confirm your
Stroke 3, break right. Sam line. Stroke 3, break.
Stroke 4.
Sam, right 3, right 3.
Sam, no.
Wait, somebody got a hit.
Flat 4's hit.
Confirm enemy squad.
Understand your hit. 4, negative bad guy squad. Negative friendly squad.
Clap 7, visual left 9.
Stroke 4, status.
Flat 4, status.
Stroke 3, egressing southeast. Stroke 3, go southeast now.
Bogey, Ike, 09069. Right to a car. Okay, Sam launch, stroke 8, nose 5, low. Switch, negative contact on your... Break right. Break right. Stop.
Stroke 3, penalty.
120 for 7.
Now it's close.
Negative contact.
Second one, break.
That's 2.
Okay.
You can see the smoke trail right there.
Stroke 3, defending nose.
Strokes flow south. Oh my God.
Stroke 8, blind.
Cover up and south.
Another SAM launch. Another SAM launch. Same location.
Sam, southeast of the target area.
Stroke 8, blind.
What SAMs were these?
SA2s.
North SAM launches.
Stroke 3, defending.
Was this package Q?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was that. There was a
It was a
interview.
failed raid.
Yeah, and it turned out that Stroke 3, the jet that we're watching, has no chaff.
Oh yeah, his shaft flare wasn't set up right.
His chaff didn't work.
It wasn't installed right or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so all this he did it without any chaff, and that's just about the thing. But yeah, you can hear in their voice. You see the G's that they're pulling up there. He's trying to go south. He's going up, going down. All the communications going back and forth. Yep. Yeah, and in the meantime, on the uniform, they're doing air to air on uniform. You can hear them saying sour and no squawk and stuff like that. So there's definitely stuff going on. Everybody has their own issues. That's basically that video.
Tire furball.
Yeah, with missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's stroke
Furball
4.
with missiles.
Stroke 4 was shot down.
All right, let me start my streaming. I'll stream this one.
Carrying big boys, weren't they? Mark 84s?
I believe so, yeah. All right. Let's see, do the other one. I split it up. This one.
The
you
largest
go.
strike of F-16s in military history.
Yeah. So today, here's Musical Sam's, Sam R, Sam Reactions, another B course. So we're going to talk about SAM tactics. That was the video. SAM characteristics in BMS, ECM theory, SAM tactics, and all of those. We're going to go over some of them. So we're going to go over all of these, but there's obviously more in between. But we're going to go over all of these here. So in BMS, I have noticed there is a new tactic they use. So they'll wait for you to get closer into the ring before they start shooting. So they wait until you're they'll just wait until you're like just out of reach, and you're like, oh, I'm fine. You're just like skippity scoppeting into the Wez, and you're like, oh, it's not gonna shoot me. And then basically at their RTR, their turn and run, they'll try to shoot you. You just have to be cognizant of that, so they won't shoot at the outer ring, because that's their maximum distance. So you can just go out. You can just kind of go off into away from them. You'll be able to kinematically defeat them. So they wait a little longer. So new tactics. So if you basically see the numeric SAM on your RWR, turn away. So the moment you see it, you need to turn in the opposite direction, because that means that they're about to shoot pretty soon. Seed, so they turn off the radars more with harms. So you may shoot off a harm and it'll just turn off the radar based off of your aspect. So if you shoot a harm and you turn away, their logic, the SAM logic, they'll kind of know that, and then they'll turn off their radar. But another way to kind of counteract that is have someone else hot as well. So if you have someone else hot, it's less likely they'll turn off, because they have a decision to make. And it'll just be whatever, but it's mostly suppression of SAMs. It's not destruction of enemy air defense, so it's usually just suppression. So you have a missile in the air, doesn't mean it's going to kill them. You're just making them have a decision.
Yeah. JJ, remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yep. So these long-range SAMs, they usually have a SA-19 or SA-14 or some type of IR short-range missile at the base of them. So the actual long-range SAM can reach out really long, but we all know if you go in really, really low and fast, they can't really get you. So their tactic is, if you do that and you're close to the center of the SAM site, they have SHORADs waiting for you, short-range missiles, and SAMs waiting for you closer up. So always be cognizant of that as well. Any questions so far? All right, let's hop right into it. So SA2, as you guys saw on the video there, it's an older SAM. It's easy to outmaneuver, susceptible to ECM and chaff at a range. So you see here, I don't know if any of you have ever seen pretty sure most of you have seen the threat guide that comes with BMS. It has all of these in there in a nice row fashion, and it's wonderful. I highly recommend you reading it. So here's the SA2. Obviously, it comes up as 2 on the RWR. I think it's F. It doesn't have F on there, but it has F as the band song as the search radar. So you'll see a F first, and then you'll start seeing the 2 on there. Minimum range is 4 miles, 300-foot launch, so they can basically hit you on the deck. Typical engagement is 15 miles. Maximum range of the missile is 38, but it doesn't mean they'll actually hit you at 38 or even launch at you at 38, but that's the maximum range of the missiles. And 230,000 feet, so you're not getting over it at all whatsoever. The notes down here basically tells you how to go away from it. So brake turn 4Gs or more, beam, split S, turn away, and yeah, 13 nautical miles pump. It says it's bad because it'll actually just catch up to you because it's super fast. It goes Mach 4.5. So just pumping and turning away from it it'll just be running in a straight line. So you got to beam it or split S or change your vector. Because if you just turn away, it'll just catch up to you going Mach 4.5. Chaff vulnerability is medium. ECM bird through range is 12 miles, and then 9 miles for the fan song, the tracking radar. So it gives you a little bit of leeway, but not too much. And by that point, he'll be shooting at you anyway, and you're too close to begin with. So yeah, so this is what it looks like. So if you look in your TGP, you'll be able to see literally these things. There's the tracking radar there. There's the other tracking radar. Got the missile launcher, and then the long range spoon rest. SA3, still pretty old. It's a medium range SAM using Top Gun. Spoiler alert, flares don't work with it. So yeah, you got these 4 missiles here, and that's a telltale sign of the SA3. I got I thought it was squad eye, flat face as the search radar, and low blow as the tracking radar. So here's the F and the 3. and as you see the search radar, it'll usually doesn't turn on at 108 miles, but usually around 50 miles it'll start searching for you, and you'll see it as a F. And then around 30 miles it'll probably start locking you up with a 3. So here's the same typical engagement, 8 miles or 8 nautical miles at 120,000 feet. So you're not getting over this one either. Minimum range 2.7, 150 launch. Maximum range of the missile is 11 miles, and you're not getting over that missile at all. So here's a little bit more to do a little bit more energy depletion and a little bit more turning. Got brake turns 6 to 7 Gs. The missile can turn 13 Gs. So for what it's worth, at least pull 6 or 7 Gs. Beam, chaff, beam, split, S, turn away, and do all those things in your crayon box to try to not get swacked by a 2.4 speeding missile. ECM burn through range is 6 nautical miles. Chaff vulnerability is medium, and medium is like, I think it's in the threat guide. I think it's like 5. I think there's a literal
6.
numbers, but it's 6. Okay, so chaff vulnerability is about 6. So popping out 6 chaff is the ideal amount to pop out defending the SAM. But that's when you're not moving at all. So if you're moving, you don't need as much. So you just have to like kind of spread out how much chaff you want to use versus doing maneuvers. So with all of these, every SAM, you need to first get visual of it. So if you don't have visual of it, then you need to quickly start maneuvering. You don't stay in a spot and just try to look for it and just keep looking for it until you may or may not see it. So if you see it in the first 2 seconds, then you defend accordingly. If you don't see it in the next 2 seconds, then you have to defend anyway. So you have to like at least like go upside down so you could see a little bit better of the ground. Try to get a visual, and then start heading down and doing your chaff and trying to get away from it. So you need to do some defensive maneuvers even though you don't see it. But try to get tally of the missile first. It's just like BFM. So you lose tally, you lose the fight. SA6, so this is probably the lowest but hardest SAM to get away from. Basically any other SAMs like higher than this, just stay out of the missile engagement zone. Just stay out of it. So if you see a 6, immediately turn in the other direction. And remember about the dead zone on the RWR. So once you turn and you put your nose or your belly toward the SAM site, you might not hear the launch while you're in that aspect. So make sure you turn a little bit, and if you suspect there to be a launch, kind of level out your nose a little, or level out your wings a little bit to listen, because it'll update once you get wings level. And if you don't hear anything, then you continue going away from it. Also, your wingman should be looking out for you too, looking out for any SAM launches. So you'll say like Mud 6, and that tells you certain things. I'm gonna pick on someone here. Diego. Oh wait, Global Net. Let's go Global Net. Do you know the difference between mud and dirt when it comes to brevity for air to ground or surface to air radars?
No, I do not.
Okay. Juddy, do you know?
I heard this once. I can't remember off the top of my head though.
Okay. Rody, do you know?
Mud call is identified on the RWR. Mud, whatever diamond number it's in, I believe.
Yeah. So mud is, so the way I remember it, Bible has this neat little picture about tigers and stuff. But mud, so it's hard to get mud off your clothes, right? So that's bad. So mud means it's tracking you. So you have you're being spiked by this by the diamond and by whatever number SAM it is. So mud is that you're being tracked by it. Dirt is a little easier to get off your clothes, so it's not as bad. So dirt just means that it's searching. So it's just out there. It's not locked onto you. It's just in
without
search.
the diamond.
Yeah, well, it could still be a diamond. It just won't be locked onto you because the diamond is just a priority threat. So the diamond could be around something. It's just simply because it's on the inner ring and it's a threat, but it doesn't mean it's locked onto you. It could still be just searching, but it's a threat because it's on the inner ring.
Okay, so when you hear it, then it becomes a dirt.
mud. So it'll start like
the way
pink. It'll
around.
It goes
do whatever.
It goes dirt, mud, and it's Singer when it launches.
Yeah, Singer is launch. But mud is like the
It's
Singer
the
is the
tracking
traditional
radar.
sound, and each of these SAMs, most of them has their own little sound. So you'll hear it when they start tracking you, and then you'll hear the traditional beep 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 beep, and that means that it's Singer. It actually launched. So you see like Singer 6 West or whatever, and then you'll do your defensive maneuvers. And that's very important because if you tell your lead you're mud something, his head automatically goes like you're being locked, you're being tracked on, and we need to do something about it. If you say dirt, it's a little bit less of a panic mode. But if you say Singer and mistakenly say Singer, then everybody knows what will happen, and you'll try to find the missile, and we'll try to start getting away from it. But try to use those appropriately if able.
Okay, and we use that on uniform channel or Victor?
So Singer, if it's launched at you on uniform, in my opinion, the other two will be on Victor. And so if it's mud or dirt, say it on Victor. If it's Singer, say it on uniform.
It's like making a fox call. You want the whole package to know that there's a threat.
Yeah, you're being launched on at this very moment. So yeah, so say out the mez, use terrain masking. So if you're low enough, make sure to use that terrain. And emergency jettison. Like if you get launched by this thing, you're not getting away from it in Cat 3. It's not going to happen. So you might as well just emergency jettison all your bombs and your tanks. So with this, I've seen it's a hit or miss. If you're up at altitude, maybe 25,000 feet, you need to immediately split S and chaff the moment you change directions, and like do a serpentine split S downwards. So keep turning at least like 5 or 6 Gs downwards in a. If I can find my Google Doodle, what is it called? Google.
Oh, your whiteboard?
Yeah, my white. Not slides. What's it called? It's like drawing. Dang, what is it called?
Whiteboard?
I'm gonna try whiteboard. Call it something. Jamboard. I would never. What the heck? So, going downwards. Oh. So if this is the horizon here. So we'll say this is the horizon. So you're going when you're up at altitude, and you get launched like over here. You need to do like S turns going downwards like this. In perpendicular to the threat. So you have to be perpendicular doing these S turns going down. That gives you about the best chance to get away from it. And you'll see it like tracking you in the canopy. It won't be moving. It'll just be a little dot, and it won't be moving in your canopy, moving forward or backwards. That means it's tracking onto you, and you're in trouble. Once you see it like go start sliding backwards or sliding ahead or sliding underneath, that means it lost track and you defeated it. So from a high altitude, start your little S turns going downwards and like jettison, pull hard, like you need to really try to, because you're gonna get swacked. If you're at lower altitude, so about maybe 12, 15,000 feet, it's even less of a chance to do, because the lower you get, the less time you have, because it's gonna shoot off 2 missiles. If you're up high, it'll shoot off 2 missiles, maybe about 5 or 6 seconds after one another. And you should be able to get away from both, because it seems like the radar isn't tracking you first, because you'll see it like launch and go up, and then sometimes it won't even start turning. It'll just keep going up, and it lost track. And by the time you get in the second S turn, it'll launch another one. And usually that one starts tracking, and that's when the pucker factor 9,000 comes in. And usually the second one gets you. The first one you're always usually able to get away from, but the second one is a doozy. And at medium, if you're at 10,000 feet, you need a beeline towards the nearest mountain, because the SA6, it's sometimes susceptible to pulling lead and hitting the ground. So that's your best bet with the SA6 at a medium altitude. But overall, it's a very dangerous SAM. Just stay out of the mez. And it has home on jamming. So I think we all covered home on jamming multiple sessions this past month with the stuff we've done.
Turned your jamming off. off.
Yeah, if you remember. The SA-8. So this thing is, so this thing is a SHORAD, so it's a short range.
One item. Did you talk about the home on jam?
Yeah, just
Okay,
at the very
great.
end. Yeah.
This is what got me, Boxer, and Arnett and Lori's Falcon was we forgot to turn our jammers off.
Yep.
And we literally flew right over it. It didn't turn on or launch until we were right on top of it. I just remember looking over my elbow on my shoulder, going, "Oh shit!" But Boxer didn't turn his off. I didn't turn mine off, but luckily it was targeting him and not me. But it tracked right to him for the home on jam.
Yeah, and that's what this does too. So it literally waits to the last second to launch at you, and by that point it's probably too late. So and it's really quick. Once you see the 6, within about 10 seconds it's going to launch at you, even if you turn away, because you're still well within its mez, so it'll still launch at you, and you're not going to be able to get away from it because it goes 3.2, so it's pretty quick. And then my personal favorite, is the SA-8, the Gecko. So it's mobile. It's usually, if it's spawned, there's usually 4 of them. So you have 4 individual TELRs. So it has a launcher and the erected launcher. So it's basically independent of itself. So this can go off somewhere and be completely independent of anything else. So there's no need for a separate radar, however many feet away, to be able to help it. This is all self-contained into one vehicle. So SHORAD's usually around airfields and high-value targets, 4 TELRs, like I said, and terrain mass. So this thing, it's a hit or miss as well. By this point, the burn through range doesn't even matter, because it burns through at 14 nautical miles, and the max range is 8.5. So it doesn't. By the time you're close to it, it could fire at you, and it doesn't matter if you have ECM or not. It's very fast missile, being only max range of it 8.5 miles. So usually around 4 miles it'll shoot at you. I think that's 2 seconds. I think roughly it's every Mach, it's like a second a mile or something. So it's about 2 seconds to hit you once it launches at you. And the evasion of this, so break turn 8 to 9 Gs, chaff, evade close shot with the slice turn under 80 feet. Missile will get you at 11 seconds. That's up high. So if you're up at 16,000 feet, it'll get you in about 11 seconds. And this is very accurate. So the max range of the missiles is 50,000. So if you get launched at 16,000 feet, don't try to climb to 20,000 and hope you're okay. It's going to reach you anyway. But typically, if you stay above 18,000 feet, the SA-8's not going to shoot you. And yep, good.
I was going to say the best thing is to turn and to burn. It is a Mach 2 missile, but as long as you can turn away from it, or you can put it onto your 3.9 line, you can get it to waste most of its energy trying to get to you. And it's a very short range. It's only like 8 miles. So as long as you can turn, a lot of times I'll turn into it, burn, and then just watch it.
Yeah. So if you're unaware of it, so if you're flying this way and you're unaware of it, I think for me, I would probably, especially if you don't, because you're usually low. You have to be somewhat low to see it. So you're at 15, 12,000 feet. I would try to tally it, because it's super loud, super annoying. You're going to know that you're getting launched, this high-pitched sound, and it's crazy. So you'll see it. If you're usually the best way to get away from it is if you're head on like this, but we'll go over that later. So with the SA-8, the best bet for you is this, to turn like really, really hard in this direction, and kind of do S turns going in the opposite direction. Because it's super maneuverable, and there's not too much stuff that you could do at a high altitude. But at a lower altitude, if you are coming in straight on it, so you're literally attacking the SA-8, so you know where it is, and you get launched. Let's say it usually launches at like 5 miles, so we'll say this is 5 miles of separation. You track it, you look at it, you wait. You kind of have to jink and chaff at the same time as when it launches. So the moment it launches, you gotta like jink 45 degrees, put it on the beam, that scared me. And usually, you're able to it loses you in this turn. So it's trying to acquire you, and once you make that 45-degree turn and chaff, your chaff stays here, but you're going off this way, it'll usually lose you in that turn. And then by that point, you try to get away from it while still doing chaff, so it can not reacquire you. But this works about maybe 60% of the time, depending on what your timing when the moment it launches. But that's a good way for low level stuff. High altitude, a good tactic for it is kind of using the same tactic as the SA6, so kind of do S turns going downward. And I would highly recommend to jettison everything that you got. And that's basically about it for the SA6. And I have all these on my videos on YouTube, so I literally go over all of it. Yeah. So any questions on the SA8?
What's a teller?
I thought I had it in here. Terms. I thought I had terms, but it's basically like a erected. Erected launcher and radar or something. So it basically it's self-sufficient. So it has its own. It's the radar, the launcher, and
It's self-contained.
yeah, it's all self-contained. Let's see. Yeah, it's the only one. So this is not a TELAR because it has it's the missiles and the radar aren't on the same vehicle. It's the TEL. I think it's erected launcher. I forget what the T means, but it's a erected
Transporter?
launcher.
Towable?
Towable? It might be towable.
Transporter, according
Okay,
to
so
Wikipedia.
transporter, erected launcher,
So
and
yeah,
radar.
that's it. The TELAR is transporter radar. TLAR, transporter launcher and radar. A
Combined.
bunch of other things.
Yeah.
The abbreviations
All one
in the
unit.
right guide.
Yep, yeah, it's all of
Yeah.
it's in there. Yeah, I should have put the thing on here, but I know what it means, and you could always do it. And I'm glad we went over it because it's self-sufficient and it could move. So you could have a SA8 intel on an area, and it moves like 20 miles to the east. So you always have to be careful.
So Prime, what about the azimuth and elevation figures that are in the lower right corner of the information? Is that even relevant? Yeah, that
Target
A
one,
set and
azimuth
EL.
120. So it's not really relevant because it just tells you how much at like the radar. So the radar could see 120 degrees, and the elevation it could see if you rotate that up 90 degrees. So it just tells you what the cone is. If that makes any sense. It's not really pertinent because if it shoots at you, it shoots at you. You're not going to be 121 degrees off and like miraculously not get launched at.
The radar is going to be tracking you whether you're at 5 degrees straight on or you're over it exactly at 90 degrees right on top of it straight because it's going to turn around and still track you exactly
at
90 degrees
It's
and
mobile
come down
too. It can
on top
move.
of it. Exactly.
Yeah. So this is on the radar side. It's not like if you turn as
the radar antenna is going to keep tracking you no matter where you are.
Yeah. So it's not like if you turn 120 degrees, it'll lose you. So it's just like what the radar sees.
There's a couple of them though that can actually be moving and track. I forget which ones they are.
I forget too. Is it the Hawk? I don't know. Some of those. It's one of those. Not many that could move at the same time, but I know the Shelka, the SA-19 and stuff that could do it.
And the 15, I think.
Yeah, those little buggers. All right, so the SA-10. So
oh God,
I'm not gonna go over the rings here, but the inner versus outer ring. Just go over that real quick. So basically, let's go over this first. So I'm gonna ask GlobalNet, what is a indicator that the SA-10 is launched at you? What is the indicator?
I think this one is just sorry. I think this one just as soon as you see the radar on your RWR, you're probably already launched. If I remember correctly.
So where is the on your RWR? Where would it be located?
I think for this one, it's the outer ring.
No, it's the inner ring. So once it goes to the inner ring, then you have to assume that it launched at you.
Okay.
So it's basically the differences between the search radar and the tracking radar. So you got the big bird, which is the search radar, which is the 10 on the outer ring. And then once it goes to the inner ring, it switches to the tracking radar, or once it switches to the tracking radar, it'll go to the inner ring. So that's basically the transition between it using radars. And you just have to assume that it launched at you, and you have to you have to really assume if it starts like mud. So if it starts tracking, a little chirp, like the chirp of death, it'll start chirping at you, and that means it's looking at you and pinging you only, and it's probably time to start heading in the other direction.
Well, and if you shoot a harm at it, you might want to shoot multiple. Once you see the T, lock onto the T view using what is it? HS.
No.
It doesn't really matter
hard
which
targeting
one you're
system.
using.
Yeah.
Yeah, but make sure you fire 2 because it's going to kick down 1, and then it's going to fire multiple missiles at you.
Yeah, I think it could track. I've seen like 6. Like you could have 2 missiles out and think you're good, and it'll still schwack you.
Yep.
So don't launch a missile and think you're good. You have to turn away and turn off your jammer and make sure you're going away from it, because it's still tracking you.
It's going to shoot down both your harms and smack you.
Yep, that is facts. So yeah, no launch warning. Inner outer ring, long range is about 50 miles. It usually launches at 48. So that's
JJ
pretty.
and I did it, and we got 1 out of 3.
Nice. And I think the ring in BMS is 49 miles. So if you're in that ring, it probably shot at you already. That's if the ring is accurate. So yeah.
No, it's not. You got to get. They won't shoot you until you get closer.
And then terrain mass. So if you're in a area where you can't, like when you're going in on the target, usually you're flying low below the mountains there to get in. But remember, there's probably SHORADs at the launchers there, so be careful of that.
So now in this case with a 10, you wouldn't necessarily call Singer though, would you? Even if you see it on the center ring, because you don't really know if it's fired at you. You're just assuming.
Say defensive 10 or Singer 10, like you just assume and you turn off to let people know that it's actively launching, possibly. But there's a very strong chance, unless it ran out of missiles for some reason, it's just pinging us with its flap lid, which is actually very intimidating.
Now, actually, I just thought about this. I am almost certain that the SA-10 and the Patriot will shoot when they're moving. Remember? In Israel, we had the Patriot that was driving and shooting at us.
I've never seen it before. That
yeah, it's not supposed to do it, but it does it.
Well, yeah, keep that in mind. It's just dragging the 1,000-pound missiles across the ground.
It was the one. It's the one where we got. It was Israel. It was Sinai. We got jumped by Raphael's, and Casper was like the last one left, and he rolls in and does a gun run on the radar, and he gets the radar, but then he gets whacked.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was moving. Like the Patriot was freaking moving at like 40 miles an hour or something across the desert floor.
That's insane.
Goodness.
And it goes super fast, 5.5. I think it's roughly like 60 seconds after it launches, it should be hitting you about the time. So you literally forget about it and you explode. So
it's still tracking you. So
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's basically the equivalent of a Patriot.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And here's some SA-14s, man pads. So these guys, they're basically invisible. You'll just see a short little, maybe 1 second puff of smoke, and you just explode. So you gotta keep your head on a swivel, especially if you're really low, especially if you see moving mud. So you see other tanks or armored vehicles and anything on the ground. You need to always look in that direction to make sure nothing goes off. But the good thing about these, what was that?
It's a stinger.
Yeah, basically a stinger. The good thing about these, its flare vulnerability is very high. So you can probably go to idle, pop off 2 flares, and it'll get confused and go after the flare. But as long as you see it, if you don't see it, none of this matters. So typical engagement, usually you try to stay above 10,000 at least, but being that the SA8 is about 16, so 20,000 is probably a good do not go below unless something else is making you go down below 16,000. Yeah, no smoke usually means it's like a second of smoke, initial smoke, and then it goes away. Break turn, 5, 7Gs, flares, usually around BMPs and tanks. Yeah, that's about it. There's no launch warning, as you just have to see it.
You're most likely dead.
Yeah. So and you're really close to something, so you need to stay away from it. So here is the SA-17. So this, if you get launched on by an SA-17, you're dead, unless you have a mountain to hide behind. That is the bottom line of this thing right here. You can try to do the SA-6 maneuver to not really confuse it, but to just get down as soon as possible. But this thing is super deadly. Definitely stay out of the way. If you start seeing Ds on your RWR, it could either be 11 or a SA-17. The 11's a little bit easier, but not by much to get away from. But if you see any Ds on your RWR, one of these are close by. So yeah, use terrain masking, emergency jettison, everything. Either you'll die with it or you'll die without it. Doesn't really matter. And yeah, stay away from both of these things. Home on jam. Chaff vulnerability is no effect. Doesn't even matter. 2.7 on the speed there. And yeah, super dangerous things. And you're not getting above it at all. Yeah, 6. I think I've never seen it actually do 6 targets. But I know it usually does 2 missiles per target. So if you get launched on once, just expect another one to come right after it. And it does have anti-missile capability, so harms will just distract it. And yeah, it'll just distract the thing. Yeah, don't play with these.
How do you defeat one of these?
Terrain masking. That's literally, you're not really going to defeat it kinematically or using maneuvers, because it doesn't care. So terrain masking is just about, or luck is just about the only way to get away from these SA-17s.
Or if you can get the angle, you can drive it into the ground, even if it is flat terrain. But it's one of those. Once it has you, it is on you like nothing else.
Yep. And some yeah, like Ripper said, you can sometimes drive it into the ground, but I've seen it sometimes where like both the missile and I are staring each other in the face, and I'm like going like 80 degrees to the ground, and it like the missile like goes all the way to the ground and like hovers at like 16 feet, and it like stays there, and it's like you have to pull up at some point, and it just keeps going, and then you have to pull up, and it hits you. So it definitely knows where the ground is. So going to the ground is not always going to work, but it definitely stops before it hits the ground. Same thing with the SA-8. The SA-8 does the same thing. It knows where the ground is. It'll just hover above the ground until you have to pull up. That's about it. So I think you got I think this is right. Gamble, Viper, Weasel, or no. Is it Make?
Yeah, no, you're right. That's right.
Okay, yeah, I put it wrong in here.
Yeah, you put it wrong in Discord.
So any questions, concerns? I want to go back over something.
I've had one.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the question of Singer and Mud and well, those two basically. So there is this thing on the threat warning auxiliary panel where it's an altitude button. So it allows you to. I'm sorry, it's the search button. So it allows you to. If you press it, every single search radar stays on your radar warning receiver. So, say you have an S on the radar warning receiver, would that then qualify as dirt?
Yes, but typically you don't have that on because it's just too cluttered. because it literally could be anything.
So otherwise, if I get, say, for an SA3, I get an F because that's the search radar symbology, would that already be a MUD?
It's
No,
because it's a search radar. It's not a tracking radar. So it can't. Well, actually, it could. Apparently, it could track home on jam. So that the F on the SA6, I've seen it track me via home on jam, and the 6 never comes up. It just tracks me the entire way with the search radar. I've seen it happen one time.
So that would be MUD.
Technically, but in the moment you wouldn't really correlate everything. You would just get swacked. But I mean, technically yes, but in a perfect scenario you wouldn't, or in a realistic scenario you wouldn't really correlate that and call it over the radio.
So how do I know what is dirt and what is mud?
If you see one of the so if one of the numbers is locked on you, that is mud.
Yeah,
if you
numbers.
see a B or an F or one of the search radars that are locked onto you, that's a search radar, so it's dirt.
And we usually don't call those out. Usually we say, like, I guess if you want to, you say like Foxtrot or something, or Fan Song, or you would name it. Just to
we usually just call it once the numbers pop up.
Yeah, usually.
And then obviously you would call Singer once you got the warning, or if you saw a missile launch.
Yep. 100%.
Okay then. That's clear now. Thank you.
Yes.
Cool. All right, I'll close this. Close that. I think Bible server should be up, so go ahead and join. Make sure you have invulnerability on. If you need help with invulnerability, let us know, because we don't want you dying.
Does anyone have his IP address?
Aha. Yeah, 1 second. I always see it, and then I always lose it. Debrief? Bravo? Yeah, if someone has it, just send them a message. I'm trying to look for it again.
I can exit out and get it.
Here, I got
I'll get it.
I got it.
There it is. I put it in UPT Bravo. For those who never got it, I put it as a public one.
132.
I'm streaming, Rody.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. No, I was doing something else.
Okay. And go and hop in, and then hop into your flights there. And make sure you have the invulnerability. There should be 2 boxes, and they both should be green. If they're not green, ask someone. Let's see, what am I? Viper. Perfect.
132, 125.
I get wrong again. So I got Viper is the first one. on the
Hey, listen
the
up.
missions there, but Viper is the second flight. So make sure you're in the correct flight there.
Okay, according to ATL, Viper's first.
So yeah, whoever's in your, just look at the Gamble, Viper, Weasel. Make sure you go into the correct ones. It's not in order of on the missions, but the call signs are still there.
All right, Prom, you're in Weasel. So
if you hop in, you don't have these circles, let someone know as well.
Okay. I thought Mako was going to be Viper 2. So it changed?
Yeah,
yes, I changed it to Gamble.
Okay, copy that.
And when you're slotted in your seat, go and mute your mic.
There you go.
Oh, I'm getting an error, and I think I forgot to update to U1. Yikes.
Yikes.
Let me see how long it would take. If not, I'll sit out like the first round or something.
Okay. I think it takes a good bit.
It's okay if you come in later, you can hop into the spot when they're airborne and just join after.
Okay, that sounds good. All right.
All right, so everyone seems to be in, except for global. Let's go ahead and take a couple minute break. Come back at 05. So 6-minute break.
Cool.
All right, listen up.
So I have given y'all harms and HTS pods, just in case you want to look at what's new with them, because there's been a couple of changes, and this is there's no consequences if you just stare at them and flow into a SA-17. So make sure you try to see if you could figure them out and just
Panic
look at them.
launches.
Yeah, panic launches. And,
Absolutely everywhere.
Yeah. So you could feel free to look at them. Use your harm if you want. If you use all your harms, you still got your HTS pods, so you can definitely look at symbology and stuff. And usually we fly past the SA2, 3, 4, and about the 6 or 11. We start running out of fuel there, depending on how much you want to maneuver. You don't really have to maneuver because you're not really trying to defend them. Just want to do as much as you can for a little bit to get kind of acquainted with them, and then if we have time, we could land at that alternate field in the middle here, or there is the tanker. I have no more lines. There's
neither did I.
Yeah, the tanker is right here, going back and forth. So we could go to the tanker if you want, or you can land at the alternate field right here in the middle. And then we can go back up and do more defending of these harder SAMs to the east. So basically, it's from the west to the east. The west are easy SAMs. It goes up 2, 3, 4. You got the SA-10 in the up here, and then the SA-4 in the middle. Pretty sure there's there's SA-5 here. So there's no more threat circles, but there's a SA-5 up there. You'll get launched at from him if you go into the 11 or the 6. The threat circle goes around pretty far. It's about the same as the SA-10. And then you get into the SA-17. You got some man pads on the DLZ, SA-8, SA-13, and then on the far east coast there's the Hawk. So you got some friendly SAMs that you might not go up against, but at least be familiarized with what the Hawk is. So the Hawk is about the same. It's like a mixture between an SA-6 and an SA-11, so it's pretty dangerous. It's probably going to hit you.
And you got us going from Steer 4 to Steer 5, right in between an SA6 and an SA8.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah. Yep, going straight down the middle.
SA8. 17 up there. Oh, goodness. SA9.
GlobalNet, were you able to get it downloaded at least?
It just finished installing. Give me a second.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Ripper.
So is flat spin a new thing for U1?
Flat spin?
Yeah, like when you get damaged and all of a sudden you start going into a flat spin.
It's a flat spin.
Oh, that's crazy.
You. Yeah, it is. We got. Oh, goodness.
I guess it's simulating a wing coming off or something.
You know, it's just like in Top Gun where Goose is goosed. That same spin, and it just goes straight down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like probably simulating a wing coming off because it'll probably do the same thing. If your right wing comes off, you'll just keep going to the right.
And we've seen it on from the external view, but both wings are on, and it's
well, I mean, simulate like it doesn't come off, but it just simulates it.
Yeah. Oh goodness. And it's level, and the longer you wait, the faster it spins.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
So, Rody, we going to go for this 10 right right after Steer 2?
Good. Go for it. Good try.
Good try, because we got to get the we're coming close to Steer 2, the SA2.
Yeah, we're gonna be dodging SA2s trying to target the SA10. It's gonna be epic.
So if you guys want within the flights, you can go like straight to wherever you want. You don't have to start from steer point 2. So if you're already familiar with SA2s and SA3s, you can go straight to the like 4 or something. Go mess with the SA4 and SA6.
Okay, back.
Gotcha.
Let's get a hold of Ripper.
I'm back.
What he wants.
Okay.
What he wants to do.
Yeah, Ripper, I told you if you don't have to go from west to east. You can go to like steer point 4 right off the bat and mess with the SA4 and SA6s if you're already familiar with the 2 and 3. But it's all up to the flights.
This is a safari. We're going from ring to ring.
The whole experience. We paid for the entire safari, so therefore we will see the entire safari. You look to your left, you'll see.
Hey, there's a new name, Sam Safari.
Yeah, I agree. Sam Safari, SS. Well, maybe not. That's a little German stuff.
Yeah, like,
German.
Maybe not.
Yeah, that's your subject right there.
Let's just go back to musical Sam's.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready for IVC check and get going.
Alrighty. So in order, we'll go Gamble, Viper, Weasel, and if there's no one behind you, say that there's no whatever, no 3 or no 4.
Okay. Ripper, we're going to switch channel after this to discuss our strategy.
Oh, we don't need to. There's no strategy.
Yeah, it's not really.
we literally just gonna fly through waypoint to waypoint.
Yeah. Exactly, but who's going to fire on what?
You're not going to fire. You don't need to fire anything.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You kill the SAM, that keeps another flight from being able to experience it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
now,
maybe
once we're done, once everyone's through, if we want to shoot at the end, that's fine. But we don't want to like mess it up for the other groups to get the experience.
Okay, copy that. So no firing.
That experience.
And then for the G, so we're all gonna be Cat 3. So don't jettison your everything. So try to keep your stuff and just kind of get a feel of the SAMs and how dangerous they are. And then in like a single player, you could like spawn a SA-17 and go clean if you want, so you can get away from it. I highly doubt it, but it's possible. But by all means, go in the single player and try to see if you can get away from stuff at the best scenario that you got. That's a clean F-16. But yeah, so let's go ahead and do IVC, Gamble, Viper, and then Weasel.
Copy that.
Gamble 1-1 uniform check.
Gamble 1-3 uniform.
Gamble 1-4.
Viper 1-1 uniform.
Viper 2, no 3, no 4.
Weasel 3-1 uniform.
Weasel 3-2, no one else after.
Sweet, that worked. Global net status.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, that wasn't okay. Let me try.
Not hearing anything now.
Ripper, Joker Bingo.
Do a blanket 32-22.
Copy that.
We may also go to the alternate depending on fuel once we get to the end of the safari.
Yeah. Ripper, is Global Net in your slotted?
He is?
I'm
Okay,
here.
yep.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's slotted.
Not quite
Guys,
here
can
in
you
your
hear me?
IVC yet.
Okay, let me see.
Don't forget you have to click on BMS. It has to be the active program.
So I guess now you could check on your IVC the yellow in your toolbar.
Okay.
Make sure it's connected to your correct input output for microphone and stuff. At the bottom there.
Looks like it is. I mean, it also says I'm connected.
Did you hear us?
I think so. Yeah, I think I heard you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Testing.
I think that might have still been Discord.
Global. Bridge check.
Yeah, not.
And it
not
should
hearing
be uniform, right?
F1, F2. Oh, F1 in this case.
Testing.
Yeah, I heard the dual. So go ahead and mute your Discord and do it again.
Testing.
Yeah, there we go. All right, I think we're good. So to go and do that glorious click dance, because this stuff changes all the time. And I'm ping Bible. And there it goes. Timer's going down.
We're going taxiway or ramp?
Taxiway.
I'll do that. Alrighty. Going taxi. Let's start doing ramps sometime.
I mean, then we'll never get in the air. Someone's bound to have a problem.
Hot starts, Rody. Hot starts.
Yes.
Yep.
Just imagine the worst BMS technical issue day and then times it by 12.
Well, and also just time.
Yeah.
Come on, BMS. You have a 1-1 uniform check?
Kemba 1-3 uniform.
Gamble 1.
Viper 2-1 on uniform, checking in, waiting for one more person to check in on Victor.
Weasel 3 checking in uniform 2. You guys, let me Charlie.
Camera 1-4, what's our check-in channel?
Weasel 3, roger.
Camera 1-4, uniform check.
Weasel 3, roger.
That's fine. You gamble 1-1 against 11.
Viper 2, 2 good ships in the pit, taxiing to into runway. Runway 27.
Gamble 1, 4 ship, F-16s. Request taxi. Good morning. Gamble 1, you're number 3 for departure. Hold present position. Give way to Weasel 3, 4, F-16, taxiing Charlie. Good morning, Viper 2. You are number 1 for departure. Taxi, Foxtrot, Echo. And hold short, runway 27 left.
Forward.
Viper 2-1, contact tower for takeoff. Switch to 30880.
Gamble 1-1 taxi.
Weasel 3-4 ship F-16s. Request a taxi.
Prison.
Good morning, Weasel 3. You're number 2 for departure. Taxi, Charlie, Foxtrot, Echo. And hold short, runway 27 left.
Gamble 1-1. This is 4.
4, hold. Hey, 2, Gamble 1-2, how copy? Global, how copy?
Weasel 3, 2 good ships, taxi and holding short, runway 27 left.
I think our 2 took off, or is taking off with the other flight.
Was Gamble 2 in the barn with you or no?
I think so. I thought so.
What's our tank in?
7-8. Extra. Well, 3s were behind you. I don't know where 2 is. He disappeared.
Prime, how copy?
Gotcha on uniform.
Have you heard from Global? I think he's mixed up with your group down there.
I have not heard from him.
Our flight is the one with the boxes on the tails, and I think he's down there mixed in with the wrong flight.
Yeah, I see one Osan here.
Yeah, he was parked next to me, and then all of a sudden he just taxied away and never responded. Global, how copy? Global, how copy?
State location.
Testing. Yeah, we're making sure he has the correct frequency, but
Gamble
he's
1,
putting that in
taxi,
now.
Foxtrot, Echo. And hold short, runway 27 left.
Global, do you copy on Victor 15?
Testing.
A-firm, can you hear me on Victor 15?
Viper's going to tower.
Weasel 3-1, contact tower for takeoff. Switch to 30880.
Alright, Fly, we're gonna pull into the EOR here in park.
Yeah, no, I'm actually not able to hear you guys. Give me a second.
A2, can you hear me? Three, how copy?
Gotcha.
4.
4 copy.
2. Yeah, but 1, 2, this is 1, 1, how copy?
Three, you on my left.
I'm on your right.
Copy that. Just switch my lights so you can see it.
Yep, you're 4.
Copy that. Just I want to know where you are. Three, going steady.
I think I got you at the parking game, Rody.
Yes, you did.
Alright, 1 is gonna taxi towards the runway.
3.
2, if you copy, follow in line behind me.
I don't think he copies.
Gamble 1-1, contact tower for takeoff. Switch to 30880.
Alright, switch on the tower.
3.
4.
Gamble 1, 4-ship F-16s, ready for departure.
Gamble 1, hold short. Weasel 3-1, contact departure. Gamble 1, Osan Tower, wing 260 at 1 knots, runway 27 left. You are cleared for takeoff.
Alright, we'll give the AI a second to get caught up. Alright, so 3, you're gonna form in behind me, and then 2, the AI should come up on my right side.
3 is going to get behind you.
Affirm. The AI should squeeze in between us. 4, hold position.
AI is coming ahead.
3, hold.
Three, I'm on your right.
Gamble 1-2, how copy?
Testing.
I got you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Uniform 3.
Testing.
Got you loud and clear.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Alright, do a 10-second interval. One breaks on. Breaks on.
Gamble 1-1, contact departure. Gamble 1-3, what is your problem? You are disrupting traffic. Gamble 1-4, is there a problem?
Four is up.
Alright, we're gonna climb up to about 20,000.
Weasel's trying to call us on 6. One.
Raj 3. Sorry, this is 1.
Did you move to Uniform 6 yet? Crime Flight's trying to call us.
Negative, I had it. Gamble 1, checking in uniform 6.
Gamble 4-3. 1-3.
Viper 2 got you Gamble on uniform 6.
Gamble 1-3. 1-4.
Weasel 3, Viper 1 got you limit Charlie, U6. So if you guys know, package, if you know, you could lock up the radar on your head, and you can use your TGP to slew over to it as long as you have a high accuracy level of the radar sight.
Like on level 23,000.
I'm seeing 10 tracking radar.
Copy that. We are at Mud 10. Campbell 1-4, switching to QNH 22992.
One state fuel flow.
5300.
Fencing now.
Three fence 2933, 10.6 feet. Dirt 10.
Weasel 3, defensive 4. Singer 3, Viper 1, Singer 3. Oh yeah, correction, Singer 4, Weasel 3.
Viper 2, Dragnet 3, star package en route.
Gamble 1-4, defendant. SA-10, Singer 10. Singer 10, Gamble 1-4, defensive.
What do you... Defensive where? You're not even in the freaking threat circle.
Weasel 3, missile defeated.
Gamble 1-4, missile defeated. Gamble 1-4, Mud 2.
Flare.
One defensive, Singer 2.
Chaff, flare.
One defensive, Singer 2.
Chaff, flare. Chaff, flare.
3 Mud 2.
Altitude. Altitude.
Gamble 1-4, Mud 10. Singer 10.
It's not a 10, it's a freaking 2. Jesus Christ, dude.
Whistle 4, defensive.
Singer 2 in the air.
Chaff, flare. Chaff, flare. Chaff, flare. Chaff, flare.
Or you're fighting a 2, not a 10.
Copy that.
Shoot at me.
Missile defeat.
Whistle 3, signal 4, defensive.
Another 2 in the air.
Whistle 3, 2, defensive,
Chaff,
signal 4.
flare. Out.
Ooh, Mud 2.
Copy that. Mud 2. 2 o'clock.
3-1 clean, signal 4.
Alright, flow back out of the threat circle.
Signal
4,
4.
come back.
Gamble, flight, flow out of the threat circle.
Copy it. Bud 10. Got a Bud 10 at 9 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Flow south, 180. Get out of the threat circle.
Copy that.
Two, status.
Defensive.
Right, flow 109 with me. Flow out of the threat circles.
Two copy.
Gamble flight, we're going to reference tier 3. Once we get away from the threat circles, and we're turning towards it.
3.
4.
2.
4, 1. Visual, I'm on your right wing.
I'm going to skirt along the SA-10 ring right here and reference tier 3.
Mud 2.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
One visual.
I think the 2 might actually be out of missiles.
Whistle 3, defensive, Singer 6.
Gamma flight fuel states. 1 is 085.
2, 7, 8.
394.
Two, what is your fuel state?
Eight.
Mud 10, Mud 10.
Yeah, just stay on the edge of his circle. You'll be fine.
Weasel 3-1, clean, Stinger 6, times 2.
Mud 2.
What's in?
Mud 10.
Weasel 3-2, defensive, Stinger 6.
What 3?
Weasel 3-2, defensive, Stinger 6. Hit me.
Gamble 1-4. Stinger 3. Mud 3.
Evaded the second one.
Better 11 o'clock.
Stinger 3.
Weasel 3-2, defensive, Stinger 6.
Successfully defended.
Hey, Campbell, we're going to play with the 3.
Altitude.
Stinger 3.
Yep, just on the air.
Gamble 1-4. Mud 6. Mud 10. What's on the air?
Viper 2-1, Stinger 4. Weasel 3-1, Stinger 6, defensive.
I close to 4.
Yeah. Viper 2-1, Stinger 4. Weasel 3-2, defensive, Stinger 6.
Gamble 3-1, Stinger 3.
Weasel 3-2, defensive, Stinger 6.
Campbell 5 flows 040 for the SA4.
Weasel 3-2, Stinger 6, defensive.
Shaft. Flare.
Missile in the air.
Missile in the air.
Data.
Did that get you one?
Altitude.
Yep.
Altitude.
Whistle 3-1, Stinger 6.
Mud 4. 11 o'clock.
So we're flying right over it. Again, we're flight reference tier 5.
4. 3.
2.
Go ahead and climb as well. 15,000 reference tier 5 direct.
4. 2.
Third 6.
Alright, we're going for the SA6 now.
Oh, crap.
Third floor.
Come back. Got an F on the has. Start 4.
They keep flowing keep flowing east away from the 4.
Copy that.
We're referencing tier 5 and we're gonna take a peek at this SA6.
I got visual on you. I'm on your
Missile in the air. Missile in the air.
with both missile in the air. I see it. It's coming. I got 6.
Number 2-1, Mud 6, Stinger 6.
It's tracking.
3 in position.
Singer 6, Singer 5. Clean, Singer 5. Viper 2-1 clean. Singer 6. Singer 6. Viper clean.
Whistle 3, Singer 8.
Chat, flare.
Missile in the air, missile in the air.
2 clean.
I gamble flow away from the 6 and towards the 11.
Copy that.
It's like the petting zoo for SAMS.
Absolutely. From one exhibit to the next.
We till 3-2 Singer 8.
Package.
2 clean.
Do not forget to lock up with your hat and look at the SAMs or your TGPs. If you're able, it's a perfect opportunity to get used to using those systems together now.
Got a mud too.
Singer.
I gamble flow north towards the SA-11.
Still got a mud too.
Singer 11.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm going down.
Altitude.
Gonna hit the deck.
Singer 11.
Singer 11, Viper 1, 2.
Singer 11.
Captain, does anyone know how to share at mark point?
Singer 11 up in the air. Twice. Got hit.
So mark point is press 7 and then dauber right till you get to the correct sensor you want. You get TMS up to give a mark point, and then yeah, there's ways to do it with the mark point after that. Hold on.
Singer 11 up in the air, going after you one.
I gamble. Keep flowing east towards SA-17.
Did it hit you?
Oh yeah, I've been hit a couple times.
Copy that. I'm at 200 feet. Another one fired. Oh, that one got me. Missile defeated.
Weasel 3, Singer 8. Viper 1-2, Singer 11.
Hey Gamble, keep flowing east. 090 for the 17.
4 copy. You're at Angel 5, right?
Hey, for 6,000 now.
Right below you at 300.
One fuel state is 050.
Jeez.
Weasel 3-2, Singer 8, defensive.
Goodness, now we're going to 17.
Name of the game.
Buddy spike.
Data.
Fourth bingo.
For fuel state.
2400.
Reference alternative.
Copy that.
2-3 fuel state.
344.
I think we all might be in the SA-17 ring.
Yeah, Weasel 3, yep, just tread fast from
Just on
the
the air, Singer.
south.
Viper's in from the west.
Weasel 3, Singer 17.
Gamble's on top of it.
Viper 2-2, Singer 17. Gamble. Gamble, 1-4, Singer 17.
Go for Viper.
Missile defeated. Singer 17.
Go for Viper. Viper 1-2, Singer 17.
Gamble 2-3 fuel state.
Gamble 4.
Magnum. Altitude. Altitude. Magnum. Caution. Caution.
Gamble flight status. Gamble 1-3, how copy?
3 copies, defensive SA-11.
Viper 2-2, Singer 17.
Raj, 3, what is your fuel state?
17's tracking 2 targets at the same time. Viper 2-1 defensive.
I gamble flight bug out for alternative.
Four copies.
Bingo. Bingo.
Still 0.9. I gamble flight is diverting for fuel.
Viper.
Weasel 3, same, diverted for fuel, alternate.
Got a Mud 8. Singer 17, Viper 2. Got hit by the 8.
Joker.
Altitude. Altitude.
Crap.
Bingo. Bingo.
Bingo. 2-1.
Viper 1-2, Viper 1-1, Singer 8.
Coming full 1, Buddy Spike.
Viper 2-1, hit by the 8.
2, running on fumes. 1-8. 2, return to base. 2, bingo. 1, 7.
Alright, Gamma 1 is diverting out of fuel and out of time.
Viper.
Campbell 4-1 got landing strip straight ahead. Campbell 1-4 going in for a straight approach.
Weasel 3-2 ship, 6 miles from alternate. Weasel 3-1 is 4 mile final, alternate.
Campbell 1-4 wheels down.
Gamma 1-1 on a short final, fuel emergency, 800 pounds.
Same.
Viper 2-1 defensive 15.
I'm in front of you. I'll take right.
Altitude.
Gamma 1-1 a short final.
Number 1-4, short final. Straight in approach on right side.
Of course, what you said. Or I thought you said you were wheels down already.
Copy that. Wheels down. Four wheels down.
Data.
We're getting off towards the left of the runway. Is that you, one? In front of me?